Hey guys, GHAZZY TV here with another Path of Exile 2 video, and we are hard at work in trying to come up with what the hell we're going to start with when it comes to minions for 0.3 launch this Friday, which is 2 days from now. GG has just announced that we are not going to be having any sort of skill tree available. I have poked Local Identity, who is one of the masterminds behind Path of Building, the Path of Building tool, to see how fast they can actually get the skill tree in a somewhat functional order in Path of Building before the launch, because we're going to have a torrent to download the patch before, like about a day before, so tomorrow at the time of this recording. Anyways, I'm literally sitting in a Discord call with my right-hand man, Mr. Lolash. You can say hi to everybody, Lolash.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, he definitely sounds like that normally. That is Lolash, who is the guy I've been working with for a long time when it comes to PoE builds and whatnot. And we've been sitting on stream now for the past couple of hours, trying to figure out what the hell we're doing. So my little list here in front of you guys might have already read it. My plan is to play Spectres, which means that we have 10, 20, 30, or 20 to 30 new monsters from the Abyssal League. We have, what, 100 plus from the new Interludes and the Act 4 monsters. We don't know what those Spectres are going to be, but we do know there's a lot of buffs and spirit changes to it. We also have some changes happening, such as the weapon swap, where is now, based on the updated patch notes, going to allow us to lock our weapons. See if I can bring that up here somewhere. This little part right here added an option to assign your equipped weapons to both of your weapon sets instead of needing to use different items in each weapon set. This can be enabled by right-clicking the weapon set on your keyboard, mouse, or holding right triangle with a weapon highlighted on your controller. This means that you can weapon set swap without changing your weapons and your shield, for example, or your staff if that's what you're going with. This means that we can have one set for a specific type of Spectre setup or Minions reservation setup and another setup for another type. This obviously allows us to pseudo-convocate, and for those of you who don't know what convocate is, it's the Path of Exile 1 skill that allows us to teleport minions to us. If you weapon set swap to a set that doesn't have the minion summoned and then swap back to the set that does have them summoned, your minions will just reappear right next to you. And we'll be utilizing that a lot, especially now that there's no time between you swapping your weapons, which will make that a lot smoother as well. However, it also means that we have the possibility to run a minion setup for your build to play that has a specific type of minion that is excelling at the idea of clearing packs of enemies. And then having a weapon swap set to a set of minions that is excelling at the idea of single target burst damage, which basically means that we can have one focus on clearing maps. We find a heavy rare or a unique boss or pinnacle endgame boss, you just weapon swap to a setup with a unit that is doing extremely well for single target boss fights. That's at least the initial idea that we're having. Before the launch, we're probably going to use skeletal archers for clearing until we have a better idea with the Spectres. Maybe Volguards, time will tell. And for single target, we're looking at the Death Knight Elite. You can find these on the website PoE2SpectreWiki.com. I'll leave a link in the descriptions down below to this. You can just search for Death Knight Elite here, for example, and you'll find the Death Knight Elite details. You'll have everything here. Big shout out to Trudy again. You can watch the gameplay footage, well, not gameplay, but mechanical testing focused videos that he has on all these things. If you click on the title, you'll get to the PoEDB, which shows the information more and more about these in more depth, if you so wish to. So that's the current plan. Another thing that we're going for is the Infernalist, and we're going to be starting off with the Loyal Hellhound. At least this is what I'll be planning to do. So Loyal Hellhound, which is going to be running with a support gem that makes enemies hits on me, take some of the percent of that damage over to my companion, and it's just really comfortable to use in the early stage of leveling. Then we'll be picking up Altered Flesh to mitigate some of our damage away from Cold Lightning Physical into Fire and Chaos. And that means we're going to need chaos resistance. We will be picking up Beta's Will, which is going to reserve our life by 25%, but we're going to get 1 extra spirit per 25 HP, which means we're going to want to stack life. But we're also going to be picking up Beta's Hand to reserve another 25% of our life, so we only have 50% life pool, but we get 1 extra energy shield per 8 life, which means, again, life stacking. Then we're going to give the build a Ritualist treatment. The POB you're watching right now is the Ritualist build that me and Lolash cooked up for 0.2. And this offers us the possibility of running things like Ghost Dance, for example. And Ghost Dance is an aura that allows us to, when we finally take a hit, to recover an energy shield based off our evasion. So we want to run an evasion energy shield setup. So basically full blue life focus and going from that. And for those of you who have experience with PoE 1, do keep in mind that chaos damage does not bypass your energy shield pool in PoE 2. Instead, it actually deals double damage to your energy shield, and we will not be able to play with the chaos inoculation keystone. And the reason for this is very simple. This one makes our life become 1, and our ascendancy is going to reserve life, and that will not work together. So that's the current initial theoretical plan that we have. And we'll have to see how things go on the launch. Hopefully, we'll be able to make an update to this before the launch, depending on what's available in PUB before the launch. But this is the theoretical plan we have. So an evasion energy shield treatment that we're going to be testing out. Then we have the question whether or not we're going to be using a staff with the new staff staves being introduced to the game, or if we're going to run something like a Prism Guardian or even just a straight up focus for more energy shield. Prism Guardian is an armor energy shield, which gives us some dexterity and all resistances, but it also gives us another batch of spirit per 25 max life, which will further increase your damage output. But the question is, will that be enough? Will we have enough defensive layers with this? We'll also be running something like a spirit gaining evasion energy shield hybrid body armor for this build, similar to what we did with the ritualist as well. So that's kind of like the idea of it, at least. And when it comes to leveling with the build, we'll run Essence Drain, we'll run Contagion, we'll very likely run the Ravenous Swarm, the new skill, which is a passive damage output. And we'll see how it feels as we get access to higher level skills from minions. When they start to actually survive, we can then transition smoothly into a full minion build, which usually happens around Act 3. And then for the in-game, we are going to need a skill tree deep dive to basically determine whether or not we're going to be using the new defensive modifier or mechanic called deflection, which I think we're going to try to do. And it all depends. And I don't know how the skill tree will look, because all we have is a preliminary set of the new skill tree. We don't know what the nodes are doing. We know there's some mini nodes over here. There's reservation nodes here, as well as over here. There's some new minion nodes over here. There's some big changes here. The offering one was moved from this corner to this side. These three seems to be elemental minion nodes. We have no idea what's going to happen. So because of that, I can't tell you how the tree is going to look like. But if you go to the PoE Vault website with the links down in the descriptions below, you can see that in there we have our guides for 0.2, and this is the rituals build, which you'll find in there as well. My idea is to do something similar to this, except that we're not going to play a ritualist, and I'm not going to grab these movement speed nodes, because these were a compensation approach because we're running Bones of Ullr. And in 0.2, they didn't get movement speed. They will do in 0.3, which means that we can offset the lack of movement speed with these things. On top of that, we have the sprint functionality, which will also give our minions movement speed buff. And this makes me feel like Bones of Ullr will probably be one of the most used unique item for any minion build out there, because it's just cracked, especially now that we can get movement speed on it. Obviously, for higher end game, we're probably looking at something like the Darkness and Throne belt, 3 sockets on our helmet to get that extra reservation efficiency. Same thing with the belt, which is going to cost an arm and a leg is what I'm expecting. But that's the theoretical approach, at least as of right now. And I don't really have much else to say, but the main focus is that we're going to try to figure out which Spectre or Skeleton, whichever unit would provide us with the best clearing approach, is going to be used. And then I would like a weapon swap where we turn those off and turn on another skill, which is going to be single target damage dealing Spectres. And since we're not doing the whole ritualist style, we are scaling the bonuses from equipped rings and amulets, and we're not doing Lich, we don't have to do something like Ever-Grasping Rings, which means that we have an option to running something like Unset Rings to increase the amount of skills we have to alleviate any sort of skill pressure on the build itself. But that's the current idea we're running it with, at least. And I think that based on the theoretical stuff that we've been discussing in today's stream, that this is very likely going to be my league starter for Friday. And we'll just have to play it by ear as we go through it. And you can catch it all on live on stream. There's a link in this pinned message down below as well to my live stream if you want to catch that as well. And that's about it. I don't really have much more to tell you because it's very simple. No one can post a build guide. And I think that any content creator that posts build guides are just clickbaiting. And I think it's kind of disgusting, honestly. The only thing we can do is post build ideas. And this is my idea of a starter that we'll be running with. And yeah. That's about it. I don't really have anything else to say. Hit the like button, subscribe for more content. I'll catch you guys in the next one. And Lolash can do my outro.
I'm not doing your outro. Bye, everybody. Stay safe. Keep rocking.
There you go. I'll catch you guys in the next one.